Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the soft hush of your home at the end of a long day. Lights are dim, the air is still, and your suitcase waits by the door like a patient companion. Your ticket lies on the table, a thin rectangle of paper, or a glowing QR code on your phone, with a single magical word on it: Kyoto. You zip your suitcase closed, feeling the teeth of the zipper slide together with a final, satisfying sound. It's like sealing away the noise of everyday life. The messages, the obligations, the small worries that keep circling in your head. For a while they can all stay behind. You slip on your shoes, pick up your bag, and open the door. The hallway outside is a little cooler, a little quieter. Each step you take toward the elevator or stairs feels like stepping out of one world and into another. You know you're going to Japan, to old streets and wooden houses, to temples hidden among trees, to lantern light and slow-running rivers. But right now, it's just you and this small journey through familiar corridors. Outside, the night has settled over your city. Street lights glow in small pools. Cars pass by with soft hums. You get into the taxi or car waiting for you, close the door, and feel the world narrow down to the quiet space inside the vehicle. The seat beneath you is firm and stable. The seatbelt clicks into place with a gentle snap. The car rolls forward. Buildings slide past the windows, their lights scattered like quiet stars. You may see someone walking a dog, someone closing a shop, someone standing alone at a bus stop, lost in their own thoughts. All of these lives continue, but you're on a different path now, one that leads you far away, to somewhere you've only seen in photos or dreams. You think of Kyoto, of narrow streets lined with wooden machiya houses, of temple bells ringing softly in the distance, of red torii gates forming tunnels through the forest, of cherry blossoms or maple leaves drifting gently through the air. The road to the airport stretches ahead, familiar yet oddly distant. You lean your head lightly against the window and watch the city drift by. The rush of daily life feels softer from here, like background noise slowly fading into silence. As the car nears the airport, bright lights appear. Signs, glass walls, tall structures shining in the darkness. The airport stands before you like a gateway between your everyday world and the one you're about to enter. You step out of the car, the night air brushing your face. You lift your suitcase handle and roll it toward the sliding doors. They open with a gentle sigh, and you step into a place where time feels different, where people are always leaving or arriving, passing through moments of farewell and reunion. Inside, you hear the soft murmur of voices, the rolling of luggage wheels, the occasional announcement over the speakers. You check your ticket again. Destination Osaka/Kansai, the gateway that will lead you to Kyoto. You walk toward the check-in desk, your mind already drifting ahead to temple gardens and slow rivers. But your body is here, moving through the calm, bright space of the airport, one step at a time. Tonight you're not just traveling. You're gently turning the page of your life, moving toward a softer chapter. You hand over your suitcase at the check-in counter and watch it disappear along the conveyor belt. The weight leaves your hand and, in a small way, leaves your mind too. You pass through security, placing your belongings in trays, walking through the scanner, collecting everything again in a quiet, efficient rhythm. On the other side, the airport feels like a peaceful pause, a place between two lives. You find your gate, maybe buy a bottle of water, maybe a snack for later. You sit near tall windows and watch planes resting on the tarmac, their tails lined up like patient birds waiting for the right wind. Your flight is called. People stand, forming a slow-moving line. You join them, ticket in hand, your steps unhurried. There is no need to rush. The plane isn't going anywhere without you. You walk down the jet bridge, a narrow tunnel of light and shadow, and step into the airplane. The air changes, a mix of metal, fabric, recycled air, and a faint hint of coffee or tea. A flight attendant greets you with a polite nod, and you move down the aisle, counting the seat numbers until you find your own place by the window. You place your bag in the overhead compartment or gently at your feet. You sit, fasten your seatbelt, and let your hands rest on your lap. Outside the window, airport vehicles move like small toys in the distance. The runway lights create dotted lines into the dark. Other passengers settle into their seats. Some talk quietly, some scroll through their phones, some gaze out the window with the same soft anticipation that fills your chest. Overhead, the seatbelt sign glows, a small, steady reminder of where you are. The plane begins to push back from the gate, moving slowly, turning, following invisible paths across the airport. You feel a faint vibration beneath your feet, a deep humming sound growing stronger. Then the plane lines up with the runway. There's a brief stillness, as if the whole world is taking a breath. And then you move. You feel the push of acceleration, the steady, powerful pull as the plane rushes forward. The ground blurs, lights streak past. The engines sing with controlled strength. The nose lifts, the wheels leave the earth, and suddenly you are rising. Your chest flutters for a heartbeat, then settles. Below, the city shrinks, becoming a pattern of lights and darkness. The roads turn into quiet lines. The noise of the ground, all the busy stories happening at once, fades into a distant shimmer. The plane climbs through clouds, and for a moment, everything outside is white and soft. Then you emerge into clear sky, where the world is simple. Just blue above and a sea of clouds below, like a vast, sleeping ocean. Time loosens its grip. You sip water, maybe watch a movie, maybe just stare at the wing gliding through the air. You might close your eyes and imagine Kyoto. Lanterns glowing along stone paths, the sound of wooden sandals on old streets, the soft rustle of kimono fabric, the quiet flow of the Kamogawa River under the moon. The cabin lights dim as the long flight continues. People around you drift into sleep, their breathing slow and even. You feel the plane's movement like a cradle, rocking very gently through the night sky. High above oceans and continents, you are neither here nor there. You are in the space between worlds, being carried slowly and safely toward a city where the past and present walk side by side. You close your eyes, letting the hum of the engines blend with your own heartbeat, and you rest. A soft chime and the cabin lights slowly brightening bring you back from sleep. You blink, stretch, and feel the slight stiffness in your muscles from hours in the air. The sky outside the window is brighter now. Soft morning light or the pale glow of an overcast day. The captain's voice comes over the speakers, announcing the descent toward Kansai International Airport. You look out and see scattered islands, strips of land, and the wide, calm surface of the sea. The coastline of Japan appears below, a gentle curve where water meets earth. The plane lowers, and the details sharpen. Clusters of houses, tidy fields, slow lines of cars, bridges stretching over water. You feel the pressure shift in your ears as the aircraft glides closer to the ground. With a smooth, controlled motion, the wheels touch down. There's a brief roar of contact, then the soft, steady deceleration as the plane rolls along the runway. You've arrived in Japan, the first step on your way to Kyoto. Inside the terminal, everything feels orderly and calm. Signs guide you clearly in English and Japanese. You follow the stream of passengers through immigration, where you present your passport, answer a simple question or two, and receive a stamp marking your arrival in a new country. You collect your suitcase from the carousel, its familiar shape appearing among the others. You lift it, feeling the reassuring weight, proof that your journey is real, that your belongings have traveled with you across the sky. As you pass through customs and step into the arrivals hall, A new atmosphere greets you. The voices around you sound different. The lines of text on signs are different. The vending machines and small shops have their own quiet charm. You're far from home, yet you don't feel lost. You feel gently guided. You make your way to the train that will take you toward Kyoto. Maybe it's the Haruka Limited Express, with its clean seats and large windows. You find your place, set your suitcase nearby, and sit down. The train pulls out of the station, moving smoothly through the Japanese landscape. You watch houses, rice fields, and small roads slide past. The architecture is different. Roofs curve in a familiar Japanese way. Streets are neatly arranged. Small shrines appear here and there like quiet guardians of local corners. As the train moves inland, your anticipation grows, but it's not a sharp excitement. It's a soft, warm feeling, like the glow of a lantern gradually brightening. Kyoto isn't a place of loud entrances. It arrives gently, one glimpse at a time. You lean your head back against the seat and breathe slowly, letting it sink in. You're in Japan. You're on your way to Kyoto. A city of temples, gardens, rivers, and silent mornings is waiting just ahead. The train glides into Kyoto Station, a vast modern structure of steel and glass. Inside, people move with quiet purpose. Commuters, travelers, families with children. Voices blend into a calm background murmur. Never too loud, never chaotic. You step down onto the platform, your feet meeting the firm ground of Kyoto for the first time. You roll your suitcase through the station's open spaces, guided by clear signs. Escalators move like slow rivers of people, and the high ceiling above makes everything feel spacious and light. Outside the station, the city opens up. Buses, taxis, bicycles, and pedestrians all share the streets in an organized flow. The air feels different here, perhaps a bit warmer or cooler than home, carrying a subtle scent of food, asphalt, and something older that you can't quite name yet. You take a short ride to your accommodation, a small ryokan or a quiet hotel tucked into one of Kyoto's neighborhoods. The streets you pass through are a mix of old and new. Modern buildings beside traditional wooden houses, convenience stores beside tiny shrines. At the entrance, you're greeted with a gentle bow and a soft "Rasemes." Welcome. You slip off your shoes if it's a traditional place, feeling the comfort of indoor slippers around your feet. The interior smells of tatami mats, wood, and cleanliness. Your room is simple and calming. Perhaps it has a low table, a futon neatly folded to the side, sliding shoji doors, and a small alcove with a single flower or a scroll. Or maybe it's a modest Western-style room with clean, minimal furnishings and a window looking onto a quiet street or small garden. You set your suitcase down and sit for a moment just breathing. The journey has been long, but the reward is this: a room that belongs only to you for the night, in a city that has been here for centuries, watching emperors, monks, and travelers come and go. As evening falls, you step outside for a gentle walk. The sky darkens, and Kyoto begins to glow. Street lights cast warm circles on the pavement. Lanterns hang outside restaurants and small bars, painting the streets with red and orange hues. In some alleys, you see wooden facades, Norin curtains with simple patterns, and the soft silhouettes of people moving quietly inside. You don't need to go far. Just a short walk is enough. The sounds are soft: distant conversation, the gentle hum of a passing car, the faint rush of a nearby river. You might pass a small shrine tucked between houses, its stone steps leading up to a tiny torii gate. A few candles or electric lanterns glow in the darkness, and a stone fox or lion stands guard. For a moment you stand there and feel the presence of something older than you, older than your country, older than most of the world you know. When you return to your room, your body feels heavy in a pleasant way. You wash, change into comfortable clothes or a provided yukata, and lie down on the futon or bed. Outside, the city continues, but in a gentle, respectful volume. You close your eyes and listen to Kyoto breathing around you. A city that moves slowly, as if it has already seen everything and decided that there is no need to rush. Sleep comes easily. You wake to a soft light filtering through curtains or shoji paper. The room is quiet, the air cool but comfortable. For a few seconds you're not sure where you are. Then you remember Kyoto. You sit up, stretch your arms, and feel how your body has settled into this city's slower rhythm. There's no harsh alarm, no immediate demands. Just the gentle call of a new day. After washing and getting dressed, you step outside. Morning in Kyoto has its own calm. The streets are cleaner than they were the night before, as if the city has carefully folded away the remains of yesterday. Small trucks deliver goods, shopkeepers open shutters, students walk to school with neat uniforms and quiet steps. You decide to visit a temple this morning. There are many in Kyoto: Kayamizadera, Nanzenji, Kyanin, and countless others, and each one holds its own quiet world. You choose one and follow the signs, either by foot, bus, or a mix of both. The path leading to the temple might be lined with stone walls, small shops, and old houses. As you climb a gentle slope or walk along a narrow lane, you feel the city gradually fade into the background, replaced by trees, stone lanterns, and the sound of your own steps. At the entrance, a large wooden gate stands, heavy with the weight of centuries. The wood is darkened by time and weather, but it feels strong, protective. You pass under it, crossing an invisible threshold from the everyday world into a quieter, older dimension. Temple grounds open before you. A wide courtyard, wooden halls with sloping roofs, stone paths, carefully raked gravel, and patches of moss that have grown patiently in the same place for decades. Bells hang silently, waiting for the right moment to speak. You walk slowly, your footsteps soft against stone and earth. You might cleanse your hands at a small basin, using a wooden ladle to pour cool water over your fingers. It's a simple act, but it feels like washing away a layer of noise. Inside one of the halls, you remove your shoes and step onto smooth wooden floors. The interior is dim and cool, the air carrying a faint scent of incense and old wood. Statues sit in stillness, gold surfaces catching tiny bits of light. Tatami mats lay in quiet patterns. You sit down, cross-legged or with your legs folded beneath you, and let your gaze rest on a single point. A statue, a candle, a beam of light. You don't try to meditate properly or think deep thoughts. You just sit and let the space work on you. Outside, time moves normally. Inside, it feels slower, softer. Your breathing deepens. Your heart rate settles. The things that usually chase each other through your mind, the tasks, the worries, the endless what-ifs, become distant and quiet. For a few long minutes, it's just you, the sound of your breath, and the deep, patient silence of the temple. When you finally stand and walk back out, the world looks slightly different. The colors are the same, the people are the same, but you are lighter. As if someone has gently brushed dust off the surface of your thoughts. You leave the temple, but a piece of its silence leaves with you, tucked quietly in your chest. After the temple, you wander through the older parts of Kyoto. Streets paved with stone, wooden houses standing shoulder to shoulder, small shop fronts with handwritten signs. You walk without hurry, letting the city unfold one narrow lane at a time. You find yourself in a district where the past is still visible. Gion or Higashiyama, perhaps. Lanterns hang outside doorways. Wooden lattices hide quiet interiors. Sometimes you glimpse a courtyard garden, a single pine tree, or a stone water basin tucked away in the shadows. Your footsteps make a gentle sound on the stone, mixing with the soft chatter of other pedestrians and the distant hum of traffic. There's a sense of respect in the air. Buildings respecting the street, people respecting each other's space, the present respecting the past. Eventually, you drift toward the Kamogawa River. The city opens around it like a relaxed breath. The river moves at its own calm pace, water sliding over rocks, carrying reflections of sky and bridges and passing birds. You descend to the path along the riverbank. The ground is a mix of dirt and grass, and your steps feel different here. Looser, closer to earth. People walk, jog, sit, or ride bicycles along the path. Some sit on the bank, legs dangling above the water, talking quietly or staring at the flow. You find a spot to sit and let your body rest. The river in front of you becomes a moving painting, light playing on its surface, small ripples forming patterns and then fading, leaves or petals drifting by. You listen. To the water. To the distant city sounds blending into a soft background. To the quiet inside your own head. Kyoto is not silent, but its sounds are gentle, layered, and slow. There is music here, but it is the kind you almost don't notice until you stop moving and really listen. You sit there for as long as you like. Time stretches, then folds back on itself. You think of nothing in particular or everything at once. Memories, plans, worries, hopes, they all pass through you like clouds, appearing, changing shape, and then drifting away. When you finally stand, your legs feel rested and your heart feels softer. You walk back up to the street, the river's quiet rhythm still flowing inside you. Kyoto has given you something small but precious. The experience of doing almost nothing and finding that it is enough. In the afternoon, you decide to visit a garden. Kyoto is full of them, small and large, attached to temples or tucked behind old walls. You choose one almost at random, trusting that any garden here will have its own way of teaching you how to be still. You enter through a simple gate and find yourself in a carefully shaped landscape. Nothing is accidental, and yet nothing feels forced. Stones are placed with quiet confidence. Moss blankets the ground in soft green cushions, trees lean gently over the pathways, and ponds mirror the sky with calm, glassy surfaces. You walk slowly along the path, following its curves. Sometimes it leads you close to the water, where koi fish move just beneath the surface, their colors shifting like living brushstrokes. Sometimes it leads you under low branches, where you have to bow your head slightly, as if greeting the tree. You sit on a wooden veranda overlooking a rock garden, bare raked gravel with stones carefully arranged. At first it might seem like nothing is happening, just rocks and lines. But as you sit, the simplicity begins to open. You notice the patterns in the sand, the way sunlight falls at a certain angle, the quiet presence of each stone as if it were a character in a story told without words. You don't try to understand it intellectually. You let the garden speak in its own language. Texture, shape, light, shadow, silence. A soft breeze moves through the leaves, carrying a faint scent of earth and water. Somewhere, a bamboo fountain, Shirshiro-doshi, fills slowly with water and then tips forward with a gentle knock, a sound that repeats on its own calm schedule. Your breathing slows to match the garden's tempo. Inhale, exhale. The world outside the walls, traffic, schedules, notifications, feels very far away, almost like a dream you had once and then forgot. You realize that this garden is not just a place. It's a reminder that beauty can be quiet, that peace can be made of very simple things arranged with care, and that you don't always have to be moving or achieving to be fully alive. When you finally stand up and walk back through the gate, you carry the garden with you. Not as a clear picture, but as a feeling, a gentle order, a calm acceptance, a sense that there is space inside you for stillness. As the sun begins to set, you drift back toward Gion, one of Kyoto's most famous districts. The sky turns soft shades of peach, lavender, and blue. Streetlights and lanterns begin to glow, one by one, like stars appearing before the sky is completely dark. The narrow lanes of Gion feel like a bridge between centuries. Wooden houses line the streets, their sliding doors closed or half open, revealing glimpses of warm interiors. Some buildings are tea houses, some are restaurants, some are private homes. The air is gentle here, the sounds intentionally subdued. People walk in small groups or alone, speaking in low voices. You might catch sight of a Gaiko or Maiko, Kyoto's geisha and apprentice performers, moving quickly along the street. Their kimono sways with each step, their hair ornaments catching stray bits of light. They appear and disappear like moving pieces of history. You walk slowly, letting your feet choose where to go. Down one alley, you find a small stone bridge crossing a narrow canal. Water moves quietly below, reflecting the lanterns overhead. A willow tree leans over the water, its branches swaying like long, sleepy fingers. You stop there for a moment, resting your hands on the railing of the bridge. The canal, the lanterns, the soft glow on the wooden walls, they create a scene that feels almost unreal, as if you've stepped into a painting or a memory that doesn't entirely belong to you. You might find a small restaurant and slip inside. The space is simple but warm. Wooden tables, soft lighting, the quiet clatter of dishes and chopsticks, the low murmur of conversation. You order a simple meal, rice, miso soup, grilled fish or vegetables, and eat slowly, appreciating each flavor as it arrives. In Kyoto, meals don't need to be grand to feel special. The care put into each dish is a kind of quiet respect, for ingredients, for tradition, and for the person who will eat. When you step back outside, the night has deepened. The streets are darker, but the lanterns shine brighter. The world feels smaller and more intimate, as if the city has wrapped itself in a soft blanket. You walk back toward your accommodation under this gentle glow, your steps unhurried, your heart calm. The day has been full, temples, gardens, rivers, and old streets, but you don't feel overloaded. Each experience has been light, like a single petal falling into your open hand. By the time you slide your door closed or tap your keycard at the hotel, your body is ready for rest. You wash away the dust of the day, change into comfortable clothes, and lie down, listening to Kyoto's night breathing softly outside your window. Sleep comes again, quiet and easy. The next morning, you decide to visit Arashiyama, a district on the western edge of Kyoto known for its bamboo grove and riverside scenery. You take a short train ride, watching the city gradually give way to more open spaces and lower buildings. When you arrive, the air feels a little different, clearer, fresher, touched by mountains and water. You follow the signs and the gentle flow of people toward the famous bamboo forest. First, you see just a few bamboo stalks, and more. And then you step into a path where tall bamboo rises on both sides, so many and so close together that the world is suddenly vertical. The trunks are smooth and straight, their pale green surfaces catching soft light. Above, the leaves form a high, rustling ceiling. You walk slowly along the path. Your footsteps sound quieter here, absorbed by earth and roots. The wind moves through the bamboo, creating a unique sound. A soft, hollow rustle, like whispers in a language you don't know but somehow understand. Light filters down in thin, shifting beams. The world is made of greens and shadows, a living cathedral of plants. You feel very small, but in a peaceful way, as if you've been allowed to step inside a place where humans are not the main characters. You don't rush. There's no point. This is not a road to be conquered, but a space to be felt. Every few steps, you stop and breathe, letting your eyes travel up along the smooth stalks to the swaying leaves above. After the bamboo grove, you wander toward the river. The Katsura River flows quietly through Arashiyama, its water reflecting sky and mountains. Small boats drift along its surface, some with tourists, some perhaps with locals. The bridges arch across it, connecting paths and stories on both sides. You find a spot by the water and sit, watching the river move. Ducks might pass, leaving tiny ripples behind them. The mountains, covered in trees, rise in the distance, their slopes forming gentle shapes against the sky. The air here feels like a mixture of water, stone, and leaves. Cool and clean, it touches your skin in a soft, steady embrace. You could hike up a small hill or visit nearby temples and parks, but you don't have to do everything. Just being here, by the river near the bamboo under the sky, is already more than enough. As the hours slip by, you feel something inside you quietly realigning. The pace of Arashiyama becomes your pace. Slow, attentive, unhurried. When you return to central Kyoto later, you carry that slowness with you like a small, still pond in the center of your chest. Another day, another invitation from Kyoto. Today, you decide to visit Fushimi Inari Taisha, the shrine famous for its long tunnels of red torii gates climbing the mountain. You arrive at the entrance, where a large vermilion gate stands tall, flanked by stone fox statues. People move in and out, taking photos, offering prayers, tying wishes to wooden plaques. The air is lively, but still respectful. You pass under the main gate and walk into the shrine grounds. Bells, lanterns, and smaller structures surround you. The scent of incense and the faint sound of clapping hands blend into a gentle ritual rhythm. Bow, clap, bow. Then you find the beginning of the torii path. Hundreds, thousands of gates stand close together, forming a corridor of red and orange. Each gate has black characters painted on its side, marking the names of donors, businesses, and families who have given something of themselves to this place. You start to climb. Steps rise beneath your feet, stone worn smooth by countless pilgrims and visitors. The gates repeat, one after another, creating a pattern that feels both endless and comforting. The light changes as you move, sometimes dim, sometimes bright, filtered through the thin spaces between the wooden pillars. The higher you go, the quieter it becomes. Many people stop at the lower sections, leaving the upper paths less crowded. Trees grow thicker, and the city sounds fade into the distance. You find a small clearing with a view over Kyoto, the city spread out like a soft, gray tapestry. Rooftops, roads, temples, and rivers all rest under the same sky. From up here, everything that felt big and heavy in daily life seems smaller, more manageable, like tiny pieces on a wide, calm board. You continue walking, not to reach the top as a conquest, but simply to move through this space. The rhythm of your steps, the repetition of gates, the steady incline, It all becomes a kind of walking meditation. Inhale, exhale. Step gate. Step gate. Your mind empties a little more with each turn of the path. Worries fold into the silence between trees. Thoughts drift like leaves on the wind. When you eventually decide to turn back, it's not because you're tired or bored. It's because you feel you've received what you came for. A sense of continuity, of paths that go on, and the gentle reminder that you don't have to follow any of them all the way to the end. It's enough to walk a part of the journey with awareness. Back at the base, you emerge from the red tunnel into ordinary daylight. Shops line the streets, selling snacks, charms, and souvenirs. The world feels brighter, louder, but you're carrying a quiet mountain inside you now. And that quiet doesn't leave, even when you're back on the train, watching the city slide by. Not every day in Kyoto is sunny, and that's a gift. One morning, you wake to the soft sound of rain tapping against the window. The sky is a soft, uniform gray, and the city below glistens with fresh moisture. Instead of rushing to change plans, you let the rain guide your day. You move a little slower, choose places where you can be inside and warm, watching the world through a gentle curtain of water. You open your umbrella and step outside. The streets shine, reflecting lights and colors like a thin layer of glass has been placed over everything. People move with umbrellas in all shades, black, clear, patterned, forming a quiet parade of circles drifting down the sidewalks. You might visit a covered shopping street or an older arcade where the roof shelters you from the rain. Shops line both sides. Small eateries, traditional crafts, tiny stalls with snacks and sweets. The air is filled with the smell of noodles, grilled fish, sweet pastries, and fresh coffee. You stop at a small cafe. Inside, the windows are fogged at the edges from the warmth. You sit by the glass and watch raindrops race down the outside. The sound of the rain mixes with low conversation and the quiet clinking of cups and plates. You order something warm, a latte, a pot of tea, or a bowl of comforting soup, and take your time with it. There is nowhere you urgently need to be. Kyoto is not going anywhere. The temples, gardens, and shrines have stood for centuries. They can wait another day. Maybe you visit a museum, letting your footsteps echo softly in wide, calm galleries. Artworks, scrolls, ceramics, and textiles tell stories of people who lived long before you, who also knew rain and quiet days. You move from piece to piece at your own pace, pausing when something speaks to you, passing gently by when it doesn't. Outside, the rain continues, steady and soothing. It washes dust from leaves, deepens the color of wood, and gives the city a softer outline. By afternoon, your body and mind have fully given in to the slower rhythm of the day. You're not chasing sights. You're allowing yourself to be present with whatever the day offers. Raindrops on stone, steam rising from a bowl of food, the comforting weight of your coat as you walk. When you return to your room in the evening, you might listen to the rain continuing outside as you lie in bed. The sound becomes your lullaby, blending with your breath, helping your thoughts dissolve into a quiet, steady rhythm. Not every beautiful memory needs sunlight. Some are made of gray skies and the soft drum of rain on a window. On another day, you seek out one of Kyoto's most subtle experiences. Tea. Not just as a drink, but as a moment of presence. You find a small tea house, perhaps hidden on a side street or attached to a garden. Inside, everything is simple. Tatami mats, low tables, wooden beams, and soft light. The air smells faintly of matcha and straw. You sit on a cushion, your legs folded or tucked comfortably, and order a bowl of matcha with a small wagashi sweet. The process is unhurried. You watch as the tea is prepared. Powder measured, hot water poured. Whisk moving in circles until the surface turns frothy, smooth, and vibrant green. The bowl is placed in front of you with care, its shape and color chosen to complement the season. You bow slightly in thanks, then turn the bowl gently in your hands before taking a sip. The taste is deep and earthy, slightly bitter, yet balanced by the sweetness of the wagashi you eat before or after. The warmth spreads through your chest, the flavor lingers on your tongue, and your body responds by relaxing just a little more. You notice the small details around you, the grain of the wooden table, the weave of the tatami under your knees, the soft rustle of another guest's clothing as they shift their position, the quiet footsteps of the host moving in the background. In this small space, time stretches. The outside world, with its schedules and demands, seems far away. There's only this bowl, this taste, this breath. You don't have to understand tea ceremony in an academic way to feel its effect. It's an invitation to exist fully in a single moment, with all your senses open and your mind gently resting. When you finish, you place the bowl down carefully, your movements naturally slower and more deliberate than usual. You stand, bow in thanks, and step back out into the street. The city feels the same, but you feel different. Softer around the edges, more aware of the way your feet touch the ground, of how the air feels against your face. The rest of the day can be simple. A few more quiet walks, a visit to a bookshop, a meal at a small restaurant. But everything is colored now by that brief experience of full attention. Kyoto has shown you that peace isn't something you have to chase. Sometimes it's just a bowl of tea, a quiet room, and a moment where you allow yourself to truly be here. Your days in Kyoto are beginning to gather at the edge of departure, like the last pages of a book you're not quite ready to finish. You don't make a strict plan for your final evening. Instead, you let your feet and your heart decide. You leave your room and walk into the fading light. The sky is once again painting itself in soft colors. You wander through streets you've already walked, but they feel new each time. A corner that was busy midday is quiet now. A small shop you missed before catches your eye. You might pass by a temple gate you visited earlier in the trip. This time you don't go inside. You just stand outside for a moment, looking at the lanterns, the wooden beams, the stone steps. You remember how it felt to sit on the tatami, to breathe incense-filled air, to let your thoughts drift in the stillness. You walk along the Kamogawa once more. The river carries reflections of lights from nearby buildings, long shimmering lines on its surface. Couples sit on the banks, talking softly. Musicians may play gentle songs in the distance, their notes floating over the water. You keep walking, feeling the uneven texture of stone paths under your feet when you drift into older neighborhoods. Your steps echo softly in narrow alleys, passing by sliding doors and paper lanterns. You don't need to take pictures now. You've taken enough. And even if you hadn't, the most important parts of this trip aren't the images on your phone but the sensations in your memory. The warmth of tea, the cool of bamboo shade, the weight of temple silence, the rustle of kimono, the smell of rain on stone. You may stop for one more simple meal. A bowl of ramen, a plate of curry rice, a few pieces of sushi, or something entirely different. The details don't matter as much as the feeling of sitting in a small, warm place. Your body nourished, your mind at ease. When you step outside again, night has fully arrived. Kyoto glows softly, doing what it always does, caring nothing for the urgency that exists in other cities, moving at its own gentle tempo. You walk back toward your accommodation at an easy pace. The streets feel like old friends now. You recognize turns without needing a map. A certain sign, a particular tree, a bridge. They all greet you in silence. By the time you slide your door closed for the last night, you feel both full and light. You've seen and felt enough. You don't need more to make this journey complete. You lie down, letting the darkness wrap around you, and fall asleep with Kyoto's rhythm still pulsing quietly in your chest. Morning comes one last time in Kyoto. You open your eyes and realize that this is the day you will leave. The thought is gentle, not harsh. Goodbyes are a natural part of any journey. You pack your belongings slowly, folding clothes that now carry with them the faint scents of tatami, incense, and street food. You make sure you haven't left anything behind in drawers or corners. No socks, no chargers, no notes. The only thing you're leaving behind is a version of yourself that first arrived here, heavier and more hurried than you are now. You look around the room. The simple furniture, the window, the floor. This space has held your sleep, your quiet mornings, your tired returns at night. You bow your head slightly in thanks for the roof, the walls, the safety. The front desk, you check out. There's a brief exchange of words, a small thank you, and then you step back out into the Kyoto air, suitcase rolling quietly behind you. You walk or ride to the station, retracing paths you've already traveled. The city moves around you, students, office workers, delivery trucks, bicycles, but you feel slightly apart from it now, as if walking inside a clear bubble of calm that Kyoto itself helped you create. At the station, you buy your ticket, find your platform, and wait calmly among others who are leaving or arriving. Trains slide in and out with soft precision, doors opening and closing like careful breaths. When the train to Osaka or the airport arrives, you board and find your seat. As the train pulls away, Kyoto begins to recede. You see, for the last time, its mix of low buildings, temple roofs, riverbanks, and distant hills. The city doesn't cling to you, doesn't demand that you stay. It simply continues, letting you go as easily as it welcomed you. There's a quiet maturity in that, a reminder that places, like people, don't need to hold on tightly to leave a lasting mark. As Kyoto slips beyond the horizon, you realize that the city isn't really vanishing. It has already settled into you, in the way you breathe, in the way you notice small things, in the way your thoughts have slowed down. You're leaving, but you're also taking Kyoto with you, invisible and weightless, tucked into the fabric of who you are. At the airport, everything feels familiar again. Check-in counters, security lines, departure boards. But you're different now. You move through these spaces with a quiet ease, your mind less cluttered, your heart a little softer. You check your bag, pass through security, and find your gate. You sit by the window and watch planes taking off and landing. Japan lies behind the glass, roads and islands and cities you're leaving for now. Your flight is called. You board, find your seat, and fasten your seatbelt. The cabin smells the same as before. Metal, fabric, faint hints of food and coffee. But this time, it feels like the final page of a chapter rather than the first. The plane takes off, lifting you away from the ground, from Kyoto, from Japan. You watch the land grow smaller, the coastline becoming a thin line between land and sea. Then clouds surround you once more, soft and white, hiding the world below. High above the earth, you close your eyes and think back on your journey. You remember the temple's silence, the bamboo shadows, the red gates winding up the mountain, the slow flow of the river, the taste of matcha and warm rice, the sound of rain on old streets. Each memory appears, glows softly for a moment, then fades into the next, like lanterns carried down a dark river. You realize that what you found in Kyoto wasn't just a list of places. It was a feeling, a gentle, continuous calm that seeped into your bones. A reminder that you can move through life with more softness, more attention, more respect for each moment. As the hours pass, the plane hums steadily. People around you sleep or watch screens, lost in their own thoughts. You rest too, letting your shoulders relax, your jaw unclench, your breath become slow and deep. Somewhere over continents and oceans, you understand that going home doesn't mean losing what you found. It means bringing it back, carrying it into your everyday routines, letting it shape how you work, how you rest, how you treat yourself and others. The plane begins its descent. Land appears below again. Different streets, different houses, a different sky. But inside you, the same quiet river from Kyoto still flows. You land, step out of the plane, and walk through your home airport. The language, the signs, the smells, they're all familiar. You move through the crowds, collect your suitcase, and step out into the air of your own city. The journey that began with a late-night taxi ride now completes its circle. You get into a car or public transport and watch your own streets slide by. Buildings you know, corners you've turned hundreds of times, people living their usual days. Your home comes into view. You unlock the door, step inside, and feel the familiar temperature, the familiar light, the familiar shape of your own furniture. You set your suitcase down with a soft thump, kick off your shoes, and let your body release a long, quiet breath. You might unpack a little or leave it for later. You might shower, wash the travel from your skin, and change into comfortable clothes. You might make a cup of tea or just drink cool water from your own glass. The trip is over, but the story it wrote inside you is just beginning to unfold. When night comes and you lie down in your own bed, you close your eyes. The ceiling above is the same as always. The sounds outside, cars, distant voices, maybe a dog barking, are the same as they were before Kyoto. But inside something has changed. You can still feel the softness of temple tatami beneath your knees. You can still hear bamboo leaves rustling high above your head. You can still see lantern light dancing on the surface of the Kamogawa. You can still taste the smooth bitterness of matcha on your tongue. When worries try to gather, you remember walking slowly through red torii gates, one step at a time, knowing you didn't have to reach the top to feel complete. When your mind starts to rush, you remember the rock garden, where nothing moved and yet everything felt alive. When you feel crowded or overwhelmed, you remember the wide river and the way Kyoto gave you permission to simply sit and breathe. You are home, but a part of you is still strolling through quiet Kyoto streets, listening to temple bells and watching the river flow past in the evening light. As your breathing slows and your thoughts grow softer, it's as if the city has settled into your chest, a quiet, timeless Kyoto you can visit any night you wish, just by closing your eyes and letting yourself drift. And so, gently, without effort, you slide into sleep, carried not by a plane or a train this time, but by memory, by calm, and by the soft, enduring echo of a city that taught you how to move a little more slowly through your own life.